Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Music in Our Homeschool podcast. This is Gina Mayo, and we're going to be doing something different today. I am going to be sharing with you an excerpt from the live music lesson that I taught earlier this week. That music lesson is normally 30 minutes long, and I've shortened it to only 10 minutes, but you will be learning about what is a key signature. Be sure to check out the accompanying blog post because it will give you a link to purchase the full lesson if you're interested, or join the membership, or at least get the printable pack that I refer to in the lesson. So enjoy this excerpt of What is a Key Signature? If you are a homeschooler looking for ways to easily and affordably include a quality music education in your homeschool, you've come to the right place. This is the Music in Our Homeschool podcast. I'm Gina Mayo, homeschooling mom of 8 and music teacher for over 30 years. Hi, my friends. Welcome to our live music lesson of the month. This is What is a Key Signature? And if you have your printables, go ahead and grab those. If you don't, you can always do the things in here later. But if you have it, go ahead and grab it, and something to write with, maybe colored pencils or markers. And we will get started on our lesson for today. What is a key signature? If you've ever looked at music, like I have a piano book here, and this piano book has lots of different pieces in it. If you look at the beginning of a piece of music, you will see what's called the key signature. After the clef, the treble clef and the bass clef, you sometimes have some sharps or flats. Now, the very first picture in your packet has a big flat and a big sharp, so you can see what those look like. Now, when you are writing this on a staff, which is the 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this part of the flat or this part of the sharp will be exactly in a particular line or space on the staff. Now, we're not actually going to talk about the lines and spaces of the staff today because that's a whole nother lesson. And I have taught about that in other times, like in my beginning music theory for elementary, beginning music theory for teens courses. You can learn more about that. But I do want you to understand that when you see a flat or a sharp on the staff, it is in a very specific spot, which tells you what note it is. Now, why do we have different key signatures? Let me go back to this piano book here. This piece, if you look at the beginning, doesn't even have any sharps or flats. So that's telling you what key this one is in. Here's one that has 3 flats. This one has 1 sharp. Now, why would you even put those notes there? The reason is because it's going to be telling you you're in a different key. And for that entire song that you're playing or singing, that particular note will always have a sharp or always have a flat, or if there were no sharps or flats, none of the notes will have a sharp or flat. So you need to have this. Otherwise, you're going to have music that has so many sharps and flats all the way through the piece, it's harder to read. Let me show you on the next page in your packet. On this one, I put a piano keyboard because the piano keyboard is the easiest way to visually see the notes and how they're different. All instruments, if they play pitches, will play these notes, like a guitar, a clarinet. It doesn't matter what you play, a trumpet, but the piano is really easy to see because it's in a pattern. And you see the 2 black keys here, and then you see 3 black keys. And if you have the 2 black keys and you go to the white key just to the left, see how it's in red? That one is a C. That's the easiest one to find. And if you always can find a C, you can find every other note, because if you're going this way, you're going backwards in the alphabet, and to the right, you're going forwards in the alphabet. The alphabet for music is only A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats. So every single key is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or you could also use the black keys. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. And then it starts back over with C. So if you counted the notes that I just said, there's 12 different ones. One more thing to say is if you go F and you go up, that's an F sharp. But if you have G and you go down, it's G flat. Same note, sounds exactly the same. So I'm not going to count that as a different pitch right now, but in a key signature, you would call it a different note, either a G flat or an F sharp. So there's 12 different keys. Also, I am talking about Western music, which is basically Europe and the Americas. If you were to look at music from Asia or even Africa, you might have some different types of sounds. Maybe the tunings would not be like this for all of their music. So we're specifically talking about Western style music, which got organized around the year 1600, the beginning of the Baroque period. All right, so 12 different keys. The next page shows you what the keys are if you see this particular key signature in the piece of music. So remember how I said there is a key signature that doesn't have any sharps or flats? It's right there at the top. And if you look right underneath it, it tells you that it's C major or A minor. We'll talk a little bit more about minor later. Let's just ignore that for the time being. So C major is a key that has no sharps or flats. Now I'm going to go right back to my keyboard and show you C major on the keyboard. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All white keys because there are no sharps or flats in this piece of music. Let me play it for you on my keyboard here. Let's see if it'll be loud enough for you to hear. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that is the C major scale. Let me ask you, why do we even have different keys? Why is not every single piece or every single song in the same key? Sometimes it's because the person singing it, it's better in their range if it's in a different key. So that's one reason. Let's look back over on this sheet because this one shows you all the key signatures. If you go around this way, these are the sharped ones. And if you go this way, those are the flat ones. And the bigger letters in the middle tell you what key it is for the major key. And then the smaller ones are the minor key. I want to just mention real quickly the difference between major and minor. It's related to the pattern of whole and half steps in the scale. So I showed you the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you go in that order from C to D, there was a note in between. So that's called a whole step. From D to E, there was a note in between. That's a whole step. From E to F, there is not a note in between. So that's a half step. The major scale is always in this pattern. Whole, whole, half. Whole, 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 half. And it doesn't matter which note you start on. So if you wanted to start on F sharp, you do a whole step, half step. Whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And that's the pattern for the major scale. You can start on any key and play it like that, and it'll just sound like the same pattern, but you're starting on different notes. So let me play an example for you. That was a scale starting on C. Now let me start on F. No matter what instrument you play, whether it's piano or guitar or trumpet, you will learn scales because scales are really important to learn how to play in a key and always know if I'm in the key of F, I have to play the B flat. I always need to play a B flat. You look here on this chart, which is called a circle of fifths, and you see if there's one B flat in the key signature, then it's in the key of F. The last game we're going to play is I'm going to sing a song, and then you are going to sing the very last note. You don't have to, do not turn on your microphones. This is just for yourself. You're going to sing the very last note just to yourself, and then I will sing the last note, and you see if we were the same. Because you'll see what I was talking about, how almost always a piece ends on the key that it is in, okay? If a body meet a body coming through the rye, if a body kiss a body, need a body cry. But you don't know the words, so just go la. Did you get the note? So that was the note that the key is in. It's in the key of F, la. Okay. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 La. That is the key it's in. This is my country, land of my birth. This is my country, grandest on earth. I'm pledging my allegiance, America the bold, for this is my country, to have and to hold. La. Yep. Are you guys getting them? Here's one that's in minor. On December 5 and 20, foom, foom, foom. On December 5 and 20, foom, foom, foom. Let us ever sing his praise and glorify his holy name, and remember Christ our Savior on this day of joy and gladness. Foom, foom. Foom, la. This is the last one. Okay, here we go. Hail to thee, O God of glory, hail to angel choirs of joy. We approach thy light, so welcome, to thy altar now we come. Thou hast power to bind together what the world would rend apart, and where'er thy light wings flutter, love and peace are in the heart. La. All right. So hopefully you guys learned a bit about what is a key signature today. I know this was quick and we didn't get very deep, and you probably don't have it mastered yet, but I am so glad you were able to join me today and learn a little bit. I do want to point out that we're going to do Haydn, the father of the symphony, next month. So next month we'll have another fun music lesson, but thanks for joining me today, everybody. See ya.